Hello and welcome to the news on NTA International. I am Olajide Bello. First, the headlines. Nigeria making efforts towards addressing cases of zoonotic diseases adopts One Health policy strategy. Federal government officially announces Nigeria's accedance to the United Nations Water Convention. Commercial banks across the country comply with central bank directive, dispenses cash to customers on weekends. Nigeria is making efforts towards addressing cases of zoonotic diseases. The One Health policy has been strengthened through collaboration between Ministry of Agriculture, Health and that of Environment. Mr. Baba Aliyu has details.
Nigeria is among the countries having cases of zoonotic diseases with adverse effects on social and economic well-being of the people and the country. Notable of such diseases in Nigeria are Lassa fever, Ebola, tuberculosis, rabies and flu. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control says the country has recorded 636 cases of Lassa fever between January and February this year, out of which 104 deaths were recorded in 22 states.
Zoonotic diseases are on increase, and when a disaster happens, because humans and animals live in the same environment, they are both affected.
Bird flu is another disease of concern in the country. The highly pathogenic avian influenza that was confirmed in 2006 has continued to affect poultry farms in the country.
Avian influenza is not like Newcastle disease virus or Gumboro. So there is need for very serious approach in vaccination against this virus.
The estimated economic losses of bird flu in Nigeria was put at over 9 billion naira, according to the figures from the Federal Ministry of Agriculture.
Fortune Heights is about the biggest layer farm in Nigeria. They lost more than 600,000 birds.
We shall therefore endeavor to ensure that we put to an end the scourge of avian influenza in the country.
The government is implementing One Health policy comprising human, animal and environmental health. The objective is to have one-line approach in dealing with zoonotic diseases.
We carry out annual vaccination exercise. I think this is one of the few states that carry out annual vaccination exercise against zoonotic disease and other livestock diseases. This has brought a lot of improvement, especially knowing fully well that we are very close to the Niger border, and we have animals coming from Niger, Benin Republic, and even Cameroon through our borders.
The Nigerian Veterinary Council believes that updating the knowledge of practicing veterinary doctors and students would go a long way in addressing animal-related diseases.
We also want a situation where emergency preparedness will be the core of their practice. We shouldn't be taking unawares of pandemics where people die. The moment we keep doing simulations and then students are part of it and early career veterinarians are part of it, once there is an emergency, they already know what to do.
With the rainy season approaching, the veterinary officers here are discussing ways of protecting livestock from issues relating to floods, cold and other diseases.
This workshop, therefore, is aimed at creating awareness and sensitizing the key livestock stakeholders as a first step towards effective prevention and control of zoonotic diseases. This ultimately prepares you for action to ensure public health safety through effective and timely intervention in the event of public health emergencies like flood disasters.
States such as Kano, Gombe, Sokoto, Borno and Yobe states have been carrying out animal vaccination annually against zoonotic diseases. Last year, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture targeted 2.6 million dogs to be vaccinated against rabies. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
The visit of China's President Xi Jinping to Moscow was part of events that dominated the week as the U.S. Vice President Kamala commences tour of Africa. Charles Arthur now brings us these and more on the world in 6 days.
Russia and China were ready to cooperate on development of Northern Sea Route when Xi met with Putin to solidify their ties. During the visit, President Vladimir Putin of Russia endorsed the Chinese yuan as the currency for his nation's business in the global market. Russia's decision follows bilateral and trade agreements signed between Putin and the Chinese leader Xi Jinping. The two world leaders signed 14 economic agreements on March 21, which include scientific cooperation, joint production of television programs as they look to counterbalance the US dollar's worldwide dominance. Elsewhere, the US Army has set up its first permanent garrison in Poland, Polish Defense Minister Mariusz said on Tuesday. The new US Army garrison is the 8th permanent garrison of the US Armed Forces in Europe. The unit will provide infrastructure support to US soldiers stationed in Poland. The garrison will also direct and manage U.S. forward military outposts in Poland. Also in the week under review, King Charles postponed his scheduled state visit to France. The king had planned to visit the French nations this Sunday. However, the Elysee Palace said the visit had been put on hold. The Elysee says a joint decision was taken by the British and French governments after trade unions called for a further day of nationwide strikes and demonstrations during the king's visit. And in Africa, at least 34 African migrants were missing on Friday after their boat sank off Tunisia, the 5th shipwreck in 2 days, raising the total number of missing persons to 67 amid a sharp increase in boats heading towards Italy. The Italian Coast Guard said on Thursday it had rescued about 750 migrants in 2 separate operations off the southern Italian coastline, hours after at least 5 people died and 33 were missing in an attempted sea crossing from Tunisia. Still in Africa, the United States Vice President Kamala Harris commenced her African tour on Saturday. The visit makes her the highest-ranking Biden administration official to visit the African continent. Harris will first visit Ghana and later to move to Tanzania and Zambia. She will work on strengthening partnership, security and economic prosperity. She is expected to arrive in Ghana on Sunday, where she will have bilateral talks with the Ghanaian President Nana Akufo-Addo. The U.S. Vice President is scheduled to have discussion with youths in the creative industry in Accra on Tuesday and also meet with women entrepreneurs. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
Ghana is set to encourage the teaching and speaking of French language across the country, especially in schools. This is coming as more efforts are being made to expand the language across the African continent.
Today, the OIF boasts of 88 member states and other non-state actors thanks to the visionary leadership of President Leopold Sedar Senghor of Senegal, President Habib Bourguiba of Tunisia, President Hamani Diori of Niger, and Prince Norodom Sihanouk, King Father of Cambodia. Our delight in belonging to this robust organization, founded on such noble principles as the promotion of the French language, cultural and linguistic diversity, the promotion of peace, democracy and human rights, which are at the core of our Constitution, cannot be overemphasized. We share in the need to support education, training, higher education and research, as we are committed to enhance economic cooperation between us and the 5 continents of the Francophone world in pursuit of sustainable development. Considering that La Francophonie accounts for over 1.5 billion people, represents 1/3 of UN members countries, and Africa has the largest number of French speakers, accounting for 55% of the continental population, We are happy to say that Africa holds a key to the future of La Francophonie.
Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Zulum has assured that the over 20,000 agrarian refugees of bone extraction in charge will be returned home after the Ramadan fast. The governor, who is also the vice chairman of the National Committee on Repatriation, Return and Resettlement of IDPs, as well as management of repentant Boko Haram members, disclosed this when he visited the refugees who have spent 8 years at Dar es Salaam camp in Lak province of Chad Republic. Muhammad Goni reports.
The federal government established a special committee on repatriation, return and resettlement of IDPs and management of repentant Boko Haram members in the northeast, which has the vice president, Professor Yemi Osibanjo, as chairman, while the Borno State Governor, Babagana Umar Zulum, serves as the vice chairman. Governor Babagana Umar Zulum had interacted with the refugees, the UNHCR, among other donor partners, on the possibility of ensuring voluntary repatriation to their ancestral homes.
Let me also use this opportunity to commiserate with our people that are living here in Bagasola as refugees for the last 8 years. I want to convey the greetings of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and indeed my greetings to all of them.
Governor Zulum said they will work in collaboration with all relevant authorities to do the needful in compliance with Kampala Convention, and further disclosed that President Muhammadu Buhari has already released the sum of 15 billion naira to the committee in the northeast to carry out the assignment effectively. Governor Zulum thanked President Muhammadu Buhari for all his support, the Chadian authorities for their concern and hospitality to the refugees, as well as UNHCR, among other donors, for their unrelenting support to the refugees throughout the 8 years of their stay in Chad. Senior Protection Officer of the UNHCR, Patrick Malumba, said the UNHCR OCHA has been working with the refugees and the Chadian authorities in the area of humanitarian support since 2015, and there has been a cordial relationship, adding that 67% of the over 20,000 refugees have shown interest to be returned home. Representative of the refugees, Bulama Usman and Haja Pati, both thanked Professor Zulum for his support and concern for their plight and expressed happiness over his visit and their willingness to return home. Governor of Lak Province, Adam Mustafa Brahim, expressed happiness over the cordial relationship existing between Chad Republic and Nigerian authorities, particularly Borno State, and assured to continue supporting Borno refugees until they are repatriated home.
The first phase of the repatriation exercise will take place after the Ramadan.
5,000 sefa was given to each of the refugees as part of support to them. In Maiduguri, Muhammad Goni, NTA News.
On the emergence of the United Nations Water Conference in New York, the United States has committed $3 billion to support water sanitation and hygiene programs in Africa, with Nigeria serving as its hub. Anangiye Fineface reports.
Water, sanitation and hygiene services are said to be the most essential means to combat antimicrobial resistance, ensure infection prevention, and provide safe environments for maternal and child care. This session on water, sanitation and hygiene in healthcare facilities, led by the co-chairs of the United Nations Group of Friends of WASH in healthcare facilities, which are Hungary and the Philippines, focuses on the progress made towards achieving the targets set out to improve WASH in healthcare facilities.
Let's go to the basics. If we don't have the basic investment on water and sanitation, there will be very little we can do to prevent the spread of infectious diseases.
WASH must be strengthened at community level. The community health facilities and health workers have an important role to play in all phases of disease management. The local knowledge, cultural awareness and capacity need to be leveraged for greater trust, access and to strengthen resilience.
Nigeria expects partners to engage relevant agencies of government in the country to drive the realization of WASH targets in healthcare facilities.
And I believe the right people that they need to work with in Nigeria is the council as a regulator, because we regulate the practice and we also regulate the practitioners. Likewise, the action aids, we heard that they're in Nigeria too. We are extending our hands of fellowship. Please, they should come and work with the right group in Nigeria.
At another side event of the UN Water Conference organized by the United States Chamber of Commerce, Nigeria made a case to host the Secretariat of the Global Action Plan of $3 billion WASH program for developing countries. 17 investors in WASH also indicated public-private partnership initiatives to drive WASH implementation in Nigeria. Onengiye Fine Face, NTA News.
Nigeria has officially announced her accedance to the United Nations UN Water Convention at the organization's 2023 Water Conference in New York. Nigeria's Water Resources Minister Suleiman Adamu announced this decision at a special side event on speeding up transboundary water cooperation. The value of the Water Convention at the conference, Suleiman Adamu described the convention as an instrument to help strengthen the existing transboundary commitments under the auspices of the Niger Basin Authority and the Lake Chad Basin Commission. In an interactive session with the Sustainable Development Agenda SDG Media team at the UN headquarters, the Nigerian minister maintained that the country has been making efforts to strengthen diplomatic ties in this direction.
We have also a similar one, that's the Lake Chad Basin Commission, which is of 4 or 5 countries dealing only with the issues of Lake Chad, sharing the resources of the Lake Chad. So this is not new to us, but what is important is that we are now open to the international convention, whereby we're moving from a regional situation to a more global, community, and therefore we're getting more exposure and also getting the benefits of what the Water Convention will have to bring in. Of course, it's still issues of water security. They are very, very important to us. If you know what's happening to the Boko Haram terrorism that is happening, although very well contained now in the northeast, partially was due to the lack of opportunities arising from the shrinking of the Lake Chad. And all the efforts we'll be making to get the world to get the world's attention to protect the Lake Chad from extinction. I think we didn't make.
Nigeria is downstream of 2 major transboundary rivers, Niger and Benue, and also shares portion of Lake Chad, which indicates that an infrastructure upstream therefore affects the quantity and quality of water that flows into the country. The Bulgarian embassy in Nigeria has showcased some of its heritage sites designated by the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO. The sites were creatively depicted in a movie titled A Visual Journey Through the Cultural Monuments of Bulgaria. Adebola Brooksley Sunday reports that the event is part of a week-long activities marking the 2023 Francophone Week in Nigeria.
The Republic of Bulgaria is located in Southeast Europe and a full member of the Political and Cultural Organization of Francophone since 1993. This gathering by the Bulgarian community in Nigeria is to celebrate the 2023 Francophone Week and a visual journey of the Bulgarian heritage sites and cultural monuments. Bulgarian ambassador to Nigeria, Yanko Yodanov, said the alphabet in the French language is one of the unique features of France.
It connects us within the borders of Bulgaria. This is the alphabet, and this is our unique language that is actually giving the birth of all the Slavonic languages. So basically we see that French and Bulgarian are very, very close in those aspects that are building friendships and cooperation and that are building communities. So this is the most important connection that I see.
We have 21 countries celebrating Francophonie in Nigeria this week. We started with a Bulgarian documentary. It was very interesting about the history of writing and in Bulgaria, and beyond that, the cultural diversity of Bulgaria.
Raya Stoganova, an exhibitor, says the Boyana Church, the Madara Rider, the Rock Haven churches of Ivanovo, and the Thracian tomb of the Kanzalak were the first 4 sites listed in 1979 before 5 others, and the most recent one in 2017.
The international community recognizes these sites as value for the whole world. So they're so important. So every country, almost every country has such kind of sites. So we are presenting here these sites with nice panel in 3 languages. It's important, English, French, and Bulgarian. So we don't forget any. So it means that if you learn French or English, it does not also give away, it's not necessary that you give away your own identity as Bulgarian.
Nigerian businessman Umar Mustafa wants Nigerians to learn from the unity that exists between the Francophone countries.
For them to come together in the first place is a good sign of togetherness, growth, and what we've been trying to see and also identify for a very, very long time. The impossible is nothing. It's just for like minds who share the same vision to come together, make the decision, and implement.
Bulgaria-Nigeria diplomatic relations entered its 60th year, and both countries have been enjoying a mutually beneficial cooperation. Adebola, Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International. More reports after the break. Stay with us.
It is time for us to leave this place.
One of your earrings is missing.
No one will find it.
I'm not willing to take that chance.
Have a big plan, man.
What do you want?
I want a senior position at Dubai.
If anything happens to me, go through the content of this envelope and check every single thing.
It's done. No one will ever find out the truth.
Latest entrant, latest technology. Welcome to Intel 4G LTE Advanced and experience super fast internet access today. Visit intel.com.ng or any of our stores in Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt to get started. Intel. Live more.
Glad to know you're still there. Now, following Central Bank of Nigeria CBN directive to commercial banks to open for business on weekends, correspondent Okwe Alabi was in Area 3, Abuja, and reports that most commercial banks complied with the CBN's weekend directive, but are dispensing mostly old notes.
The latest CBN's directive is greeted with mixed feelings by residents who believe it was long overdue. Most of the banks opened for business with ATMs dispensing cash to customers, while some were completely shut down for reasons of renovation as observed.
There is cash. Even now I withdraw 80,000 naira. We thank God for that.
No, it's lovely. It has cushioned some effect a bit. Like me, I'm traveling today, I need cash.
This one that I do now is better than the when they're not paying at all.
I learned they are paying, so I just came in this morning to transfer and get something. Luckily, I'm able to get something.
Isaac Philip David resides in the federal capital city and he is here at the bank to pay his pregnant wife's bill at the hospital.
Hospital are not collecting transfer. What they need is direct cash. So let them make sure that they let this bank to be paying us up to like 50,000, 100,000, enough money so that when we collect it, we can go and do what we want to go and do once and for all.
There's a bit ease compared to previous weeks. Yes, people are getting their money now.
I went inside, there was no queue. I withdrew the 20K, then came out immediately.
Let's just be patient. Yes, in the next 1 week, it will soon be over.
When banks complied with this latest CBN's directive to operate at weekends, challenges of cash withdrawals and deposits will be minimized. From Area 3 in Abuja, Tokwe Alabi, NTA News.
Chairman, Senior Civil Servants Association of Nigeria, NEMA Chapter Abdulkadir Mohammed says providing a conducive working environment for staff in organizations increases not only their productivity but also harmonious working relationship. The chairman said this when the association honored the Director General Mustafa Habib Ahmed for his exemplary leadership qualities. Ilyasu Ali Yakubu reports.
While honoring the Director General, the association's chairman commended the sense of maturity exhibited by the helmsman in piloting the affairs of the agency since he assumed duty. He said staff welfare and other attachments have been receiving prompt attention, and these necessitated the honor done him.
So we have experienced peaceful working atmosphere in this agency.
And that has really propelled this agency to greater heights under your watch.
The DG Neymar, who was full of gratitude, thanked the association for the honor done him and advised them to dedicate themselves to more efficient discharge of their duties.
If I'm working very hard to see your success, I will expect you to put in more. I expect you to put in more, not just in Abuja. I'm talking about everywhere Neymar exists. We must put in our best.
The DG was paid with an award for his outstanding performance and also as a symbol of their appreciation. In Abuja, Ilyasu Aliyakubu, NTA News.
Our stakeholders of the All Progressives Congress says they are intensifying engagement with party members, which is strategy developed by the party to sustain the momentum and desire for positive changes contained in the renewed hope agenda of the President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Saliu Gwanara reports on one of such engagements in Abuja.
The contest to occupy different political offices in the nation have come and gone. Some of those who became victorious at the poll are now engaged in consultations to ensure effective governance beyond 2023 once they get into the saddle. A former governor of Zamfara State and Senator-elect Abdulaziz Yari's meeting with the leaders of the amalgamated All Progressives Congress support groups is concerned about the leadership of the 10th National Assembly and the role of the Northwest geopolitical zone.
This election in 2023 give us a kind of opener that religion, ethnicity cannot win. Yes. What can do is what I believe in. So Nigerians still have confidence in us. It's not marked by our religion, considering the Muslim.
He has already articulated about 10 items out of the new law. 25% of our budget will go to education. There will be no strikes, no protests from the universities again, and they are going to revamp all our universities, technical colleges, primary school to secondary school.
Stakeholders have agreed to key into the proposed government of national competence by the President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu through constructive engagements. In Abuja, Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
This is where we end the news, but before we go, remember to connect with NTA on the campaign against rape and rapists. Thanks for watching. I am Olajide Bello.